Right, so here's part 2. We are disassembling a 3035 movement from a vintage Rolex Submariner. We're just at the stage now. From part 1 we've got to removing the automatic module, and we're now just starting to remove the vintage dial. How many screws are there on?
Just 2.
Just 2?
Yeah.
And then there are some little, is it 2 brass feet that fit into 2 holes?
And I come under and I grab them with my tweezer like that.
And you're grabbing beneath the dial?
Yeah, I'm not touching the dial.
Yeah, and the dial, first thing we do is get that into a safe sleeve out the way and breathe a sigh of relief. Now we can see the date wheel underneath.
Yep. And we're going to put it in the movement holder. And for the minute, since we got everything off, we're just going ahead and put the movement in the movement holder.
Okay.
And flip it over, and we'll just get the train side all disassembled there. So we got them locked in. All right, so I'm going to just work from here, and
so next stage is I'm going to try and remember all that's going on. We're removing one of the bridges. I'm going to guess it's the barrel bridge.
Train bridge.
Damn.
It's okay. Now here we have a standard screw. Remember, a shorter one on the one side
than the other.
Yeah.
So that's something you got to watch for when reassembling, that you don't put the long one in the short one.
Well, I believe these two are the same. So that's good for the train bridge. So yes, train bridge is consistent. So we're in good shape.
Both the same size. So you don't need to worry about which way around they're going.
Yep. And then we're coming back here to take the bridge off. And let me tighten that down here. Okay, get it. There we go.
And, oh yeah, we can still see a little bit of dirt.
So now we're going to lift this bridge carefully, because we also still don't want to bend any pivots.
Yep.
But this particular watch is well seated on its steady pins. So let's just be gentle here.
Okay.
There's a little corner there where we can get under. Got under there.
You can actually see it moving quite
easily.
And
there's a little corner there too. It's like a little depression. There we go.
There we go.
And now we're going to look at our jewels, and we're going to pre-clean, but there's really no oil there.
Quite dry?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see much. So it'll come clean. Set the bridge aside.
All right.
And now we have a little different layout, but you see how this, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yep.
5 escape?
Yep.
Remember this one right here? He also sits in that hidden jewel there.
Yep.
And we'll pre-clean them just to get anything off. I'll tell you why. Can you come in close?
Yep.
I see discoloration there on the end of the pivot.
Okay.
So we want to clean that. Now, yes, it'll... Oh, there. Can you see that on the
Rodico? Is that flakes coming off?
Yeah.
So is that like a gold coating that's been put on it?
I don't know, but it's, to me, it's just
coming off.
Dirt.
Huh.
And now I can see that the stainless on the hard steel underneath got cleaned off. So that's why I tell you that we pre-clean, because I'd rather get rid of that dirt
than have it flashing around inside the sonic cleaner.
Here's our seconds.
Again, you're going to do a pre-clean.
Can you see the grime on the end of the pivot?
Let's have a look.
A little bit?
Just about. It's darker, it's less easy to see.
A little came off. Watch, let's pick a clean spot on the Rodico, see if you can see that. No, fairly clean.
Doesn't look too bad.
No, let's go to the second. Not too bad. Costas, there you go. See that little brown color? To me, that looks like worn metal and oil.
Okay.
Set that aside.
It's a bit gungy.
Get the escape wheel out.
Same thing.
It's never as dirty, but a watch is designed to run clean, not dirty. Ha. This is our minute pinion bridge. I was thinking about why they call it a minute pinion. Let's just take a...
Is it possible because it's actually minute, and it's the minute pinion?
I think it could be a minute pinion. You're funny. It's not minute, it's bigger.
Looks pretty small to me. I'm on ×2.
But let's just get this bridge off. I'm just going to stand off like this so you can see. I watched our other videos, and I think the best thing we can do... Now, I got to get the cannon pinion off.
Okay.
But let's take a look at that bridge. Unknown caller. and we'll clean off this little.
Hang on, I'm just trying to find it. Okay, so you're giving that a quick pre-clean as well.
Yeah. Now that didn't look too dirty. We'll put that there with our bridges. But let's go ahead and turn this over real quick, just so I can remove the cannon pinion. We have to remove a lot to get to the cannon pinion. That's kind of yeah. Let's go back. We don't have to stick to this order, even though if I was in a Rolex room, they'd probably roll over and die. But
well, they'd wait 18 months before they. Well, they wait 6 months before they roll over and die.
Yeah. Slow motion anger at me. Ratchet wheel screw. Yep. Ratchet wheel. I can also pick it up like this, by the way.
Right on the just the teeth.
Yeah, I'm being real gentle.
And because you're using the bronze.
Yeah. Now remember, we have a lefty over here.
Yeah, I was about to ask, are we coming up to our lefty screw?
We want to be very gentle with that screw. The last thing we want to see is.
So this one goes the wrong direction.
Evidence that somebody was abusive of the screw. Just kills me. Yeah. Here's your crown wheel, and he has a core. Take and pick it up. You'll see that there's like a bushing core right there.
The little groove.
Right there. You gotta clean them separately. You don't want to leave it unidentified in the cleaner. And let's just take a look at this spring here. This is a tension spring for the crown wheel. Hump up. Just remember, always hump up. Yep. He stuck to. Why did he stick to my tweezer? Because he has oil on it. Yeah. Now we have our own rocker. So this bridge here and this little screw, as long as you keep them in the group, will not confuse you. But this little bridge here,
small.
So if a part's giving you a hard time,
can you try working on other parts and come back to it?
Oh, we'll get them off. It's just my point is.
You don't want to cause damage.
Is if we were using a steel tweezer and we kept grabbing it,
we're going to scratch something.
Going to scratch it. So he has to come off though.
Is your little wooden cleaner just small enough to give it a bit of pivoting?
Doesn't want to come up. It's easy. I've never had him give me that hard time, but I don't want him to vibrate in the cleaner. Come on. Not coming up.
Is there any way you can get something ever so slightly under at that barrel end?
Just going to prime up. I don't want him to fly.
No. Is that tight tolerance, or is it just a little bit too tight?
Tight tolerance and maybe a little dirt.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's just not behaving. Maybe we should pause so I can swear.
I've always found swearing helps.
Well, I would throw a spring, but it's ineffective. So I can, not only does it not make any noise, but then you can't find it. Put a little oil on it.
I mean, this is one of these are one of the 1,000 unknowns that when you're servicing a watch for a flat fee, you could get stuck with an hour.
No, we're not talking about an hour.
So you're just putting a bit of lubrication on, and that's the high speed. What do you call it? The DS5.
No, I just put some fine oil on it. I just put any oil on it.
Looks like it's moving more freely now.
Yeah, it'll come up. Yeah. Isn't it amazing how many times Rodico picks things up that you didn't want to pick up, and then when you watch, when you're like, oh,
it should be called Satan's putty.
You know, and then when you don't want to, when you do want to pick it up with your Rodico,
it absolutely won't.
Yeah. I get a lot of calls from guys who are taking apart and putting together 3135 clones, and then they get in trouble. Well, at least they're practicing on a
$100 movement.
Yeah.
There it goes. Looks like it's coming off.
Yeah.
Hurrah.
Here. Now the Rodico did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, now that you don't need it.
Yeah. Oh, I put that over there. I'm going to keep them over here with those parts. So here we have two intermediate wheel. There's an intermediate wheel there.
Pick it up with a putty.
Yeah, and then there's another wheel here that rocks back and forth to the ratchet wheel.
You can actually see the groove allows it to sort of move forward.
Yeah, and by the way, he has two pivots on him. Fat one on the bottom for the hole, smaller one on the top for the bridge. So there. Yeah, sorry we ate up a lot of time there. Okay. Click spring is under there. Here's our click. Click screw. And now we want to be careful again with that spring, which is actually locked in a safe way. And there's no messing up when we put this spring back, but it's got an L on the end. So we get a good grip on that spring, and you know how he goes.
And it's super skinny. It's really easy to lose because it almost looks like a piece of hair, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we just got the click off. There we go. So now we'll go ahead and remove our bridge. Yeah. And I believe we have a screw here that's a little different in length on this bridge. So we'll just take a look at those screws. Standard screw. Same standard screw. And then we have one more knot over here. I believe that screw there comes off of the automatic module. So we're good. It's kind of like a dual purpose screw. Here's a little lift.
So that whole bridge section's now come off.
There's nothing there but that.
Quick look.
Little dirt in here. At the bottom of this jewel, see that grime? Get rid of that. Put that with that. And these are the bridge screws. We'll put those together. We'll basket those up later. Here's our barrel. And I don't see any grime to speak of. We'll set that aside. And now our movement is bare, but we have to take and make sure we don't lose our sliding pinion.
This is the section that goes around the stem and the crown to allow you to make adjustments.
No, this is their winding pinion.
Oh, it's the winding one.
And our sliding pinion. Always want to keep them
together.
Yeah, the sliding pinion's pretty greasy, so he's not. And we're also going to remove these screws so they don't get in our way later. And these are our case screws. We'll clean those too. good. Now we'll flip our movement over. Get my hand out of the way. And now we can do the dial side. So now remember that little wing screw? We have one here too holding the dial in.
So that's holding the calendar wheel in.
I'm sorry, yeah, good.
Calendar wheel.
Yeah, and we've got our 2 jewels holding the calendar wheel.
Yeah, and they sort of slide gently under them.
Yeah,
it's
but
kind
on
of fiddly.
On 3135 there was 3 of them.
Oh.
So this one here,
it's only got 2.
It's a little clever.
Does it have... No. Oh, I'm just looking at what's different from the 3135.
Well, just those 3 jewels. Yeah. So we have a different setup here. Okay. Now we've got a whole different side of the watch here. These screws have not been touched by man. So we'll get the screw here. And this section, this piece right here is our corrector. And we don't want to break them. So we're going to be very gentle when we lift him. There's 2 steady pins for him. I'm going to make sure we get him up. See that? Ooh.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Set it aside. And we have this retaining ring right here. Now the screws aren't blued on this retaining ring, whereas on other watches it is. Like on the 3135, it's got 4 blued screws. On this baby, we've got 2. So let's set that aside. Set that aside. And get that retaining ring up. Just like that. Get that over there. And now we are going to be really careful because we have a cam yoke jewel again. So remember this lefty screw? I'm going to show you guys how to do it very gently so that it doesn't give you a hard time. Now, I loosened it, but now I'm going to turn it with my brass tweezers. Okay, just so I don't scratch it. Okay, and then this is our I'm going to hold this down just right like that, but this jewel came up, see right there? Remember that cam yoke jewel on the other 3135?
Yeah, so this one's...
Same one, same jewel, interchangeable on both watches.
Oh, okay.
So this is our advance wheel, date advance wheel. So since that jewel came up, we can just take the spring, take the tension off, and lift the yoke off. Put that over there. Okay. Our wheel. Put that over there. Cannon pinion comes off.
While you're looking for the tool, there's actually a great opportunity for us to just stop part 2. Okay. So I'm just going to stop part 2 now. Please like and subscribe, it super helps. And join us again, we're going to post part 3 so you can see the final stage of us just disassembling this 3035.